15 people have been stabbed in the counties, and there have been 9 shootings. 4 men have been killed, 3 in Sheffield and 1 in Leeds. Police say they've been putting more officers on patrol in certain areas, but campaigners say more prevention work is needed. Here's our social affairs correspondent, Emma Glasby.
I think we've got a very, very bad situation. It's not just communities that need to do the work, it's not just the police, it's not just the people, it's everybody.
Violent crime has been a priority for the last few years and will continue to be so. I think the concern has been the unknown, so unknowing with, I suppose, COVID and the lockdown of what's been happening in that period of time where we've not had sight of some of those young people.
A search for weapons in a park in Wakefield. This is about raising awareness and reassuring people, as well as taking knives off the streets. The past year, with 3 lockdowns, has seen a drop in violent crime. But there's been growing concern in recent weeks with shootings and stabbings in both South and West Yorkshire. Both police forces have had extra money from the Home Office to tackle violent crime, and they argue their efforts are making a difference.
I know you're saying there's been a reduction in violent crime, but how can you reassure people living in communities where they have seen some horrible attacks in recent weeks?
And I appreciate that people who's been a victim or know people who's been a victim, statistics means very little to them, and it's really impactful on them and their communities, and I completely understand that. And all I can say to them is that we'll continue to put extra resources and extra patrols into areas which we know of concern.
In Sheffield, the focus is on young people.
You've got to believe in yourself and believe that you know the right answer.
At Sheffield Wednesday's community programme, anti-violence campaigner Anthony is holding one-on-one sessions with a 13-year-old boy who was caught carrying a knife.
Big goals. Set big goals that motivate you.
Anthony's concerned about the potential for a rise in violence as we head into summer and restrictions are lifted.
I don't think I can explain to you how worried I am. I think young people are getting failed. They are. We look at everything as adults down on children, but we think that X, Y and Z might work because we're adults and we know better. However, we're not living it. The young people themselves are living it. We need their input.
In Leeds, a woman living with the impact of violent crime. Her son was shot and injured. He's now in prison. She told me she was desperately seeking help as he was being drawn into crime.
I felt like I gave up a little bit as well. Like, where else do I turn to? There's nobody. I think he definitely needed extra support. We needed support as parents as well. I'm not, brushing off parents' responsibilities because that's a massive thing, but when a parent is asking for help and they don't know where to turn and they're asking the appropriate people, where do you go?
It's been a very difficult few months in many communities. This weekend, campaigners will march in Sheffield, calling for an end to violence on the streets and for more support for young, vulnerable people. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North.
Well, that march that Emma mentioned has been organised by Mums United, a Sheffield charity led by mothers trying to tackle youth violence. Earlier, I spoke to its founder, Sahira Irshad, and I asked her what they were aiming to achieve.
I'm hoping that people come together across the city and join us in solidarity to make a stand against the violence that's perpetuating hate from the gangs. And we're seeing this across the city, not just in Netheredge and Sharrow. So we're really wanting to bring everybody together.
And where do you think some of the gun and knife crime issues in Sheffield stem from?
There's many different reasons why. We've had 10 years of austerity that's decimated youth services. And, that's created a vacuum for these gangs to groom young children into the drug culture. There's been a breakdown of our youth services, Sure Stop programs, all the protective factors that were here to provide support for the young people and the parents is gone. So, when you take away these factors, what you're left with is just emptiness, and that's what's happened. And what we're saying as a group of moms, that we've had enough. We've had enough of of the knife crime, the gun crime that's taking place, the number of young lives that have been lost to gangs. And, you know, we're here for all the mums, the fathers, the aunties, the uncles, the grandparents, friends, families who have lost their young people to this culture.
Now, violent crime has fallen during the pandemic, but of course that doesn't mean that the underlying issues have gone away. Are you worried about what's been happening behind closed doors?
It's just escalated. You know, we've had over 18 shootings so far this year. You know, it's not acceptable, you know, and we've had a number of deaths as well. And, you know, we're saying that it's not good enough, you know. It might have fallen, but you will see later on this year that the numbers will rise.
Sahira Irshad, thank you for joining us.